Feeling like your ad budget is just a leaky bucket, you pour money in and it just seems to disappear? Well, you're not alone. In this explainer, we are going to build the ultimate playbook to plug those leaks for good. We're going to break down a clear, actionable framework to get real, measurable results from every single dollar you spend.
So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to start with the absolute foundation, setting a clear goal. From there, we'll dive into specific playbooks for both Google and Facebook. Then we'll get into a real pro-level tactic, retargeting, before we wrap everything up with some essential tips to protect your budget and, just as importantly, avoid those common mistakes. You know, it's an incredibly common problem. So many businesses pour money into ads, just hoping for a return. But without a smart strategy, it really does feel like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. But here's the good news. Plugging those leaks is way, way easier than you think. And we're about to show you exactly how. So, where do we start? Here's the secret, and it's a big one. A winning ad campaign doesn't begin with a clever ad. Not at all. It begins with a specific, measurable goal. Before you spend a single cent, you have to know precisely what you're trying to achieve. Think of your campaign goal as your compass, because it dictates everything, literally everything, that follows. Are you just trying to get more eyeballs on your site? Okay, that's a traffic campaign. Are you looking for actual sales leads? Well, that's a totally different approach. An ad built to boost direct sales is going to look completely different from one that's just designed for brand recognition. And this brings us to the fundamental difference between the two giants of advertising. With Google Ads, you're basically fishing where the fish are already biting. You're capturing the intent of people who are actively searching for what you sell. With Facebook, you're doing something else entirely. You're showing people something cool they didn't even know they wanted, creating new demand from scratch. All right, so let's build out our first playbook. We'll kick things off with Google Ads, where the entire game is about turning that powerful user intent into profitable action without, blowing your budget. This simple 4-step checklist is your key to Google Ads success. It all starts with targeting the right keywords to attract actual buyers. Then, we'll use Google's own free tools to make our ads way more powerful. Next, and this is crucial, we'll actively prevent wasted spending. And finally, we'll treat our campaigns like living things that need constant attention and tweaking. So, what exactly are these high-intent keywords? Well, the distinction is simple but so powerful. We're not aiming for the most traffic, we're aiming for the right traffic. These are the search terms used by people who are ready to buy, like right now. I mean, the difference is just night and day. Someone searching for shoes is just browsing, kind of window shopping online. But someone searching for buy running shoes online, that person is on a mission. They've probably got their credit card in hand. Targeting that second person is infinitely more valuable because every click has a much, much higher chance of turning into a sale. Now, here's a super simple but powerful way to protect your budget. If you sell a premium product, why would you ever pay for clicks from someone searching for a cheap or free version? By adding those words as negative keywords, you're telling Google, hey, ignore those searches, and you instantly save money on clicks that were never, ever going to convert. Okay, on to our second playbook. If Google is all about capturing demand, Facebook is about creating it. Its real power isn't in keywords, but in its incredibly detailed tools for finding the perfect audience, even if they've never heard of you before. To really succeed on Facebook, there are 4 essentials. First, lookalike audiences. This is almost like a cheat code. You can upload your customer list and have Facebook find millions of new people who are just like them. It's amazing. Second, you gotta promote video content. It just consistently grabs more attention. Third, always start with a small daily budget to prove what works before you scale up. And finally, never, ever stop testing. Let me be really clear here. A/B testing isn't optional, it's absolutely essential. You might think you know what ad will work best, but trust me, the data will almost always surprise you. Systematically test one thing at a time, the image, the headline, the button text, and let your audience's clicks tell you exactly what they want to see. All right, now for a tactic that delivers a massive return on investment, retargeting. Here's a simple fact. Most people do not buy on their first visit to your website. It just doesn't happen. Retargeting is your secret weapon for staying in front of them, gently reminding them why they were interested and turning those almosts into actual customers. So how does it work? It's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. It starts by installing what's called a tracking pixel, just a tiny snippet of code on your website. That pixel then lets you group visitors based on what they did, like if they viewed a product or added it to their cart. And finally, you create ads tailored specifically to each of those groups. And this is where it gets really powerful. For someone who abandoned a shopping cart, you can show them an ad with, say, a small discount to nudge them over the finish line. For someone who just browsed a product page, you could show them an ad with stellar customer reviews to build their trust. It's all about showing the right message to the right person at exactly the right time. We're in the home stretch. Let's do a quick rapid-fire round of do's and don'ts that will protect your budget and make sure every strategy we've covered is built on a really solid foundation.
You know, the smartest advertisers are always methodical. They start small to prove what works, and only then do they scale up. They know that a small, hyper-targeted audience is far more valuable than a huge, generic one. They use free tools like Google Analytics to guide their decisions. And they remember that paid ads are most powerful when they're paired with a long-term organic strategy. Now let's talk about the mistakes that just drain budgets dry. First, the huge majority of users will see your ads on a phone, so your ads and your landing pages must be mobile-friendly, non-negotiable. Second, keep your ad copy clean and direct. Too much information is just overwhelming. And finally, like we just talked about, not retargeting is basically like leaving money on the table. This quote just perfectly captures the ideal marketing mindset. Think of it this way. Paid ads get you results today. SEO and content marketing, that's what builds your success for tomorrow. They aren't separate things. One should always be fueling the other. So there you have it, a complete playbook to stop wasting money and start getting real results. You know how to set clear goals, optimize for each platform, bring back those lost customers, and avoid the biggest mistakes. The playbook is in your hands. So the question is, what's the first play you're going to run?